Hi, everyone. Today we're talking about managing your metabolism and naturally. And usually what happens is when I get on, I don't horse around too much with the stuff, but the few of you who were on before this saw me kind of fussing around. Part of the reason why is I am kind of upgrading the system. And I think that over the next week or so, you're going to see a big upgrade because I'm going to be attaching a new camera and a couple of other things. So it's going to get more and more clear. And I think the sound is going to get better for us as well. So just saying hi to everyone who's on here. Luke and Simon and Hannah, hello, good to see you. And Z and Janet, PJ, hello, good to see you. Megan, Irene, Pushpa said hi and says I'm looking lovely. Thank you, Pushpa, so nice to hear it. I actually got my hair all brushed and I'm ready to go. Tell me to anyone who's new today. If you're new, please tell me in the chat. I want to make sure that I recognize you and make sure that you are getting the information that you need. If at any time you have a question, you know you can always go into the chat and type a question, and I'm happy to answer questions there as I'm going along. Elaine Tay says that she is new. Hooray, Elaine, welcome. So glad you're here. Priscilla is new. So good to see you. Simon and Joanne say good day. Hello. Karen says she is new. That's terrific. Anna S says new. Good to be here. Yes. So we've got a lot of new people today. Irvanti is new. Great. Kriza is new. Oh my gosh, we've got a lot of new people. Pamela says she loves my earrings. Thank you, Pamela. The cool thing about these is they're not too heavy. I know, gentlemen, you couldn't care less, but ladies, you know what it's like to wear a heavy earring that drags down your head, right? Gives you a headache and your neck hurts, right? But not these, super light. So that's why I'm wearing them on camera today. And for those of you who've been around a while, you know that I love big earrings and I kind of wear them all the time. I feel like you can't see me. You only see me from the neck up. So I'd have to wear a necklace or earrings or something just so you would know who I am, right? Otherwise, I wouldn't be who I am. Ella says, good morning. So we're going to get started right away. Got some great tips for you. And I'm going to reveal some things to you that I don't think I've ever revealed before, at least not here on the Zoom chat. So this is kind of a, I think you'll find it interesting. So I want to make sure that I share my screen with you. And don't forget, if you have questions, let me know. I'm happy to answer any questions that you may have. And if you can see my screen, if you can give me a thumbs up, please, anyone who can see my screen. Okay. There we go. Okay. Ike says, EK says, thumbs up. Thank you, EK. Yes, sometimes it's funny because I can't always see if my screen is on or not. And I try to do the best, obviously, that I can. But if I'm in a certain view, I don't see it. Okay, so I'm getting great, crystal clear. Okay, so what are we doing today? We're talking about 5 tips to beat quarantine weight gain. And I will tell you, within those 5 tips, there's going to be a lot of information. So you should be taking out your pencil and paper. You can take screenshots, but some of these are not going to be as obvious for screenshots. I'll try when I make any sort of detailed explanation to speak a little bit more slowly. I may even be able to type in the chat so you'll be able to see exactly what I'm talking about. So let's get started. So number 1, here's the big reveal. Did you know that I started my public speaking journey on the stages of Weight Watchers? Yes, I did. So I'm going to let you in on a little bit of a secret. After I gave birth to my son was a really big baby. And he was something like 4+ kilos, which is really big. And I had put on a lot of weight and I had been on partial bed rest during my pregnancy. And so when I finally gave birth, I couldn't fit it into my big clothes. I didn't know what to do. So I went to Weight Watchers like many people have done around the world. I actually lost the weight at that point. And at the end of my journey, if you will, when they were kind of saying to me, you've done a good job and congratulations, here you go on to the next thing. One of the leaders said to me, hey, you know, you're a really good speaker. Would you like to become a speaker? So that was kind of a cool thing. So what's interesting is in those days, they used to have a 5-day speakers training class down in Maryland. And so I went to that 5-day speaking class, and it was amazing. I don't think they still do it, but they used to do it then. It was totally free. They paid for it for you. You stayed in a hotel. They had different people come in. They worked with you on your technique and how to stand up and how to project your voice. And I was a nervous wreck, I have to say. I had to get up in front of an audience of about 50, mostly ladies, every week. It was actually a very small room, and they were crowded all the way up to the front, which made it even more tension-ridden for me. I remember we were on the second floor of a building a little bit far from my house. If you live in New Jersey, I live in northern New Jersey in Bergen County, and the meeting was in Bayonne. And so for those of you who know Bayonne, anybody know Bayonne? Tell me in the chat. It was about a 45-minute drive on Saturday mornings. And I would make this drive, unlock the doors, and everybody would come flooding in. And I remember sitting there just sweating, just dying, because I was going to have to talk to all these people. And what was I going to say? And what if they asked me a question I couldn't answer? And how was I going to control the hecklers in the room, right? It was kind of hard. Anybody? Nobody knows Bayonne. I can't believe it. I know I have a few of you on here from New Jersey. If you know Bayonne, then type it in the chat. However, what's interesting is, as my journey progressed, and especially my journey with natural products, I tended to avoid the topic of weight loss. I never wanted to offend anybody. I never wanted to go into a meeting and start talking about weight loss, and for someone to say, oh, well, who does she think she is? She shouldn't be talking about weight loss. And so I avoided the topic for many, many years. And I think I've told you the story that I actually went into a meeting with a very good friend of mine who's, and a colleague who is a tall, willowy blonde. And she started talking about weight loss. She's actually a former model. And I think the whole room kind of went like this, like, ugh, we don't want to listen to you. You're naturally thin. And we didn't really have a great meeting. Let's put it that way. So you have to be mindful. You don't want to insult anybody, right? You want to make sure that you're talking to them about something that they genuinely want to hear about and something that they have asked information for. Don't offend people, right? So, and you don't want to go up to people and say, my goodness, I have some tips for you. That really won't work too well, right? We want to make sure that we're being sympathetic and empathetic to the other person. They may be struggling about their weight loss. Oh, I have a couple people telling me they know Bayonne. Christy knows Bayonne, and Teresa says knows Bayonne. So that's great. So we've got 2 on the line today that know Bayonne, and we are at capacity today, which is kind of fun. This is going to be recorded. This is being recorded and will be on YouTube, and I'm going to actually have the links available for you today. So you're going to be able to see the links in the chat at the end of this presentation, and they're going to be below. All you have to do is hit the subscribe button, and you can listen to this again and again and pass on the information that you hear. Today, I guess I'm breaking the silence. I'm going to tell you my weight loss tips, my own struggles, what I've used, what's worked, what hasn't worked, and just how do I maintain my weight and how do other people maintain their weight? And I think we've all been through it. Maybe it's hormonal, or maybe eating too much, or pregnancy, or some other thing, an illness. Everyone has gone through weight loss and weight gain, and how do we manage that? And how do we manage our metabolism, right? Somehow the way we feel in our clothes is so tied to what we feel like as a person. Can I get an amen from anybody who feels that way? When you don't feel like yourself, whether it's just clothes are too tight or clothes are too loose, it just wrecks your day, right? Now, I'm sure there's some of you out there who say, I couldn't care less. I don't care if I'm fat or thin, but I'm getting a lot of amens out there from Seung Lee and Marsha. Thank you, ladies. And I'm sure there's some gentlemen out there also. Maybe you gentlemen haven't had any weight fluctuations, but I would venture to say every woman has had some sort of weight fluctuation. It may just be a monthly. Actually, I have a man there telling me, Hun's telling me, haha, me too. Yes, I know it. And so that's why I'm getting honest with you, totally honest with you today. So let's keep going, because I've got a lot to share, and I want to make sure that it's a good presentation for you, that you get a lot out of it and you walk away and you say, aha, okay, so this is how I do it. And if I want to tackle my weight now, I can do it now. And if I want to do it later, maybe something comes up, great, you're ready to do it later. Okay, so we can be healthier and happier. What I don't want you to think about when you're trying to adjust your metabolism is that I have to give up everything. I literally have to go on a, I don't know, water and air diet. Because if you're having a water and air diet for maybe longer than a day, because I know some people do some fasting for different reasons, but more than about a day or so, you really do feel deprived. And what happens to us when we feel deprived? We don't feel like jumping for joy like this group of people. We literally feel like crawling in a hole. So we want to make sure that we're adding things that make us feel healthier and will support us. So number one is, don't forget, there is no one-time quick fix. There's no such thing. I don't have a magic pill. I don't have a special injection. Wish I did, but I have what I'm going to say are lifetime methods, tips, and tricks that I've developed, and I think others are using too, but I'm going to compile them all in one place so that you can use them and feel good about yourself. So it's a combination of time, of course, healthy movement, right? And eating habits, along with stress management and sleep, right? It's kind of that 5-pronged approach. You're not sleeping well, unlikely you're going to lose weight. I'm just being totally honest with you. If you have a lot of stress, again, you could be stress eating, either under eating or overeating. If you're not moving at all, you're just sitting on the couch all day or maybe lying in your bed, again, it's going to be hard for you to lose weight. That having been said, the underpinning of everything is healthy nutrition, and you can't out-exercise a bad diet. It's impossible. If you have a bad diet in general, whether it's chips or bubble teas, we all know my fixation with bubble tea, right? But I've had to give it up. I really had to go to a almost zero bubble tea diet, although I have to say I had one on my birthday and it was amazing. I think we have to know what our triggers are. If there's something that when we eat one, we feel like eating 21, then we may have to take that thing out of our house forever and only eat it maybe when we're outside of the house or outside of the party. I find, at least for me, especially now that I'm in quarantine, I'm not strictly in quarantine, but there's so few things that are open, folks, that I'm going out and there's not a lot of places to go. I've had to empty my house of temptations. So tell me in the chat, have you had to empty your house of temptations, or have you let the temptation sit there? So temptations out or still there? Let me know. I want to hear in the chat. Because temptations can mean anything for anyone. It can mean too many crackers. It can mean biscuits. It can mean cakes. It can mean just plain old bread with butter. Anything can be a temptation. So are your temptations still in your house? So some people are saying some minimal temptations. Yamini says still there. Pushpa says let it finish and don't buy any forever. Yes, still there. Marsha says minimal. Joanne says nope. Anna says, ice cream still here. Janet says, still in the house. I like all food, any food. I've heard that before. I know the feeling. Janice says, depends on the day. And Angie Lee says, more healthy snacks. And Lynette says, yes, nuts and cashews. So here's the tricky thing about nuts first, folks. They are healthy, it is true, but we have to eat them in very small amounts. So if you're the type of person who eats one nut and then wants to eat a lot of nuts, then make sure your nuts are in a place where you can either hide them or they're out of the way, or they're not going to be as tempting. One of the things that I do is I put all of my nuts in the freezer, so they're harder to eat. They're kind of too crunchy to eat. And if I want a few nuts, unless I'm going to use them in cooking or a recipe, then I take a few out, let them thaw, and then I eat them. So that's my trick for you. Quinny says, don't buy, don't eat. Lynette says, baked nuts, not roasted. LG says, dark chocolate, Kinder Bueno. Yes, we all have our favorites. I know it's hard, but we want to make sure that we clearly understand what our triggers are. Okay, so let's keep going. Now, here are the top 5 things that you're going to add, and I'm going to give you some tips. Some of these are going to seem super basic to you, but I think I'm going to just take it to a whole new level so that when you hear this information, you're going to say, yes, these are things that I can really do. This is going to help you jumpstart your health metabolism journey. Okay, so are you ready? Get out your pencils. Tip number 1, and tip number 1, super basic. I know you all know this already. Water. You want to add water. So replacing liquids with a large glass of water and a few drops of lemon, lime, wild orange, tangerine, grapefruit, right? Now, as you can see in this picture, I'm using a glass, and this is specifically for my new people. You want to make sure when you're adding essential oils into any sort of beverage container, it is glass, ceramic, or stainless steel. Glass, ceramic, or stainless steel. Why is that? Because essential oils tend to break down plastic, and what we don't want is the essential oils that are in our water begin to break down the plastic of our glass or bottle or whatever it is, and then the plastic is actually floating in our water, which we're going to drink. So make sure your container is glass, ceramic, or stainless steel. That's number one. In my opinion, all of the citrus oils are wonderful. If you have another citrus oil that you've used in the past, I usually use between 1 and 4 drops, 1 and 4. My grandmother used to do that. So sometimes she would say, there were 3 children at the park. Just the numbers and the fingers didn't seem to match. I hope maybe I am going there. I don't know. Maybe the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. The other thing that I do is, and so why do we take essential oils and water? Because they allow us to be more satiated for a longer period of time. So the essential oils actually work for our digestion so that they help us to actually take more nutrients out of our food. So when we eat something, we feel satiated, we feel fuller after we eat the same quantity of food. Now, we don't want to fill up and stretch our stomachs with water. We also don't want to get into a point where we're drinking, I don't know, 4, 5, 6 liters a day. That's too much water. You want to make sure when we're talking about ounces, we're talking about approximately 1 ounce per pound of body weight. And 1 ounce is approximately 23 milliliters. So 23 milliliters, I believe that's the right connection. And if somebody corrects me, I'll stand corrected. But I think I looked that up right before I got online. You want to make sure that it's a small amount of water for every pound of your current body weight, not the weight that you want to be, your current body weight. So if you are a man and you weigh 70 kilos and you would really prefer to weigh more like 60 kilos, you want to make sure, or 65 kilos, you want to make sure that you're drinking enough water to support your current body weight of 70 kilos, right? Not your reduced body weight, because that means you're not going to be hydrated enough. Here's the other thing I want to point out to you. I was reading an article yesterday in the in the Wall Street Journal that was saying that there was a real effect on the elderly with dehydration. So if you have elderly people in your family, or you're caring for an elderly person, or you know are in contact with other elderly people, you want to make sure that they're drinking enough. The sensation of thirst for the elderly, and I'm not sure why this is, begins to diminish after about the age of 50 or 60. What we see is people, unless they literally are reminded to drink, will not drink. This is particularly true in people who have some sort of memory issues. So I know with my own mother, as you know, I've told you on here many times, my mother does have cognitive issues now. She's age 90. In general, she's pretty good, but she doesn't drink enough water. And you really cannot wind up with severe dehydration, which can lead to cascading effects. We want to stay hydrated. The other thing that I do with my water is I add drops of Slim and Sassy. So I usually drink I carry around with me a 1 liter bottle of water, and I try to drink at least 3 liters a day. 4 liters if I'm going to be doing a lot of exercise, especially outdoors. Most of the exercise that I'm doing now is outdoors. It's quite warm here. Our gyms are not open. So I'm trying to make sure that I'm drinking enough water on a regular basis. What encourages me to drink water? That it tastes good. So sometimes I'll actually drink decaffeinated tea, and then I'll add some drops of citrus oil into it. I also love Slim and Sassy. The other thing you can do with Slim and Sassy is you could take a capsule. So let's say you don't want to drink Slim and Sassy all day, take your capsules of Slim and Sassy. You can take between 3 and 5 capsules in a single day, and you'd be taking those throughout the day. So if you were taking 3, you'd be taking morning, noon, and at night before bed. If you're taking 5, maybe you're taking one early morning when you first wake up, then mid-morning, and then noon, maybe 3 p.m., and then again at 8 p.m. or 10 p.m. before you're getting to bed. That should help to calm your cravings and to curb your appetite. But be mindful, you don't want to go to 5 capsules on your first day. Start out with 1 capsule a day and see how you feel. How do you adjust? If you find, you know, that the Slim and Sassy capsules have peppermint, they also have a little bit of cinnamon, they have grapefruit in them. If you find that it's a little bit difficult for you to digest, take your capsules, put them in your freezer, and then drink them. Take a frozen one right out of the refrigerator and swallow it down. It'll go down a little bit more smoothly. It'll get further down into your stomach lining, and you'll feel into your digestive tract. And I think you won't feel that burp back, which is what some people are always concerned about. Chi Ying says, wow, I can just finish 1.5 to 2 liters per day. Chui, I don't know your size, how much you weigh. 2 liters may be adequate for you. I have run into people in my travels, fully grown women, most of the time it's in Asia, who are only about 35 or 40 kilos. That is really small. For a person who weighs 35 kilos, that might be absolutely adequate for them. I don't want to force more water on you than you absolutely need. But adjust your water intake based on what it is, your activity throughout the day. Okay, number 2, meal prep. This is a big one. One of the biggest reasons we overeat is that we tend not to be prepared. We don't put our food together in advance. This is something that I do on a regular basis. I put together little boxes with veggies, maybe some sort of a grain. Maybe I'll add a healthy protein in there. This is a vegetarian box, but I could have put sliced chicken or a piece of fish in there. I could have also put tofu. And then you have 2 or 3 meals throughout the week when you need something to grab and go. Now, I know we all love fresh food. Who loves fresh food, right? Delicious, newly prepared. However, when you get home from work, or you've been out for a while, or maybe you've just been working, maybe you're just working in your house, making telephone calls, talking to people on the phone, the last thing you want to do is say, oh my gosh, I'm so hungry. What is there to eat? And then go to your refrigerator and start searching, right? When we have to start searching, it's usually a problem, because whatever we find, even if it's a wonderful thing, maybe it's just fruit because somebody said, oh, I love fruit, I love cherry tomatoes. Yes, but there's a limit to how much you can eat and not wind up overeating, right? So this is why I love meal prepping. Why? What else do I do when I meal prep? I make sure that I'm using the top essential oils for cooking. And we did a segment on this the other day. I don't know if you've seen it, but it's definitely online. And I know it was in Presidential and Beyond, I think Presidential and Beyond and Team Paradigm, in both, a list of all the cooking oils, but they include herbs, spices, and citrus oils. And I use them frequently. I use them in my sauces. I use them when I'm boiling water. Sometimes when I'm cooking rice, I'll actually put a few drops right in the rice water. I love to make lemon cilantro rice, or if I'm making some sort of hummus dish, perhaps, I'll put a little bit of lime in there. I cook my vegetables with essential oils. I really love my essential oils. But here's my tip for essential oils. Start sparingly. Use a toothpick. Take the toothpick, just dip it in the top and stir it into your food. It's very difficult to take essential oils out or to neutralize them. It's easier, of course, to put more. So when you start out, really start with small amounts, see how you like it, and then keep going. I like the fact that the aromatic compounds, especially when they're added to food at the end of cooking, are terrific flavor boosters, no added calories, and also have healthy benefits for us. Okay, tip number 3. Add 1 plant-based meal into each day. So when you're adding this meal, you're basically subtracting something else that's going to be more highly caloric. Now, I've heard it said that you should be eating approximately a half a kilo of vegetables every day. If you're not eating a half a kilo of vegetables every day, you're probably eating something else that's more highly caloric. So half a kilo of vegetables could be anything, honestly, that you want. I sometimes will take a scale. I have a digital kitchen scale, and I'll just pile up all the vegetables on there, about a pound worth. It could be carrots, tomatoes, peppers. I prefer raw vegetables when I'm weighing out my vegetables, lettuce, anything that I would like to eat, consume during the day. And then I'm basically picking from that beautiful bowl. And for me, it's almost like a salad, but it's also can be snacks. They can be sliced, diced, prepared any way that I want. I can add just salt and pepper, or I can saute them up later. But the idea is that I'm eating that half a kilo of vegetables a day. Why? That keeps me from adding other things. These vegetables are bulky. They fill us up. They can also be used in different ways. You can see here our broccoli, and on the right-hand side, I think it's your right, I'm not sure. On one side are the chickpeas, and on the other side, the chickpeas have been blended into making a hummus, which is a terrific dip. Both of them are healthy. Both of them can be used interchangeably, really. But you want to make sure that your plant-based meal, you have at least one plant-based meal in every day. Bulk up on leafy greens. Here's my other tip. If you're a person in general who says, I don't really love green vegetables, I wish there was something else that I could do, consider adding terra greens into your daily routine. A scoop of terra greens into your water, and that's a product that doTERRA introduced, I want to say about 4 years ago. Terrific product. You can take a scoop of terra greens. It has a very nice plant profile, but also tastes a little bit sweet because there's a little bit of fruit extracts and also some dried fruits in there. I usually add it into smoothies, but many people drink it straight in water, and you can consider adding into other things. If you're going to cook something that's going to be a little sweet, add a little bit of terra greens, and that will increase your plant consumption during the day. Now, some of the people are getting on and they're saying hummus or quinoa. I think that's hummus in this particular, the last one I think was quinoa. And Eugenia says, can also use cauliflower rice. Yes, and cauliflower rice is available just about everywhere. You can make it in your own house super easily by taking an entire head of cauliflower and chopping it up in a Cuisinart or other food processor until it's quite small. And I've done that in the past, but for convenience, the cauliflower rice that you get in the stores is really amazing. And you can mix that with other vegetables, and it has that same absorptive quality that rice has, and that kind of graininess, starchiness almost, but very, very low in calories. Thank you, Eugenia. That's a terrific tip. Okay, tip number 4, walking. Okay, so what do you do when you walk? Sometimes some of us have pets, like this lady here in the picture. Many of us do not. I do not have a pet. When I walk, I try to make good use of my time. And part of that means I'm either listening to a podcast or I'm listening to a book on tape. Now, when I'm listening to something, I want to make sure that it's something that's going to motivate me, going to keep me uplifted. If I really feel like I want to move quickly, then I'm going to use music. And I have different playlists that I use, or I have people that I follow on Spotify that have great peppy playlists for running or for quick walking. And I try to make that into a win-win. I also listen to things on my AirPods all the time. Of course, sometimes I'm praying, but some of my favorite podcasts are Gastropod, which is one that's about the history and science of cooking. But interestingly enough, I actually get a lot of ideas from Gastropod for this presentation. And part of the reason why is they'll talk about individual ingredients like cilantro or other things that are actually made into essential oils, or citrus. So the history of those items is very interesting to me, and I use it as a jumping off point for preparing this presentation. Yamini says, any good vegan diet to recommend? I'm going to give some vegan tips in a minute. Yamini, hold on. And Angie says that she just came back from a walk. Okay, so the other podcasts that I love are Focus on This, which is all about organization and keeping mindful of our time during the day, which for many of us is a challenge. You all know that I use a full focus planner to keep track of my daily activities. Another one that I love is Michael Hyatt's Lead to Win. I listen to Amy Porterfield, Jay Shetty on Purpose, or Pretty Big Deal by Ashley Graham. So all of these are kind of I don't know, a mishmash of podcasts. I like a variety in case I'm feeling bored. Right now, I'm actually reading a couple of books, and I'm listening to a couple of books as I go out walking. So I've got a variety of things. When I get out there, I kind of think, okay, what am I in the mood for today? And what I love about listening while I walk, and look, listening is not for everybody. My husband is of the complete opposite mind. He gets out there to be completely in his thoughts, and he concentrates on what he needs to think about for the day. But for me, I begin to look forward to my walk because I'm going to listen to something fun. And that's what you want. You want to feel like this is going to be a great thing, right? I'm going to get out there and it's going to be fun, because if we feel like it's drudgery, we're less likely to do it. Okay. And now tip number 5. Let's talk about protein. Protein is really the backbone of our diet. Many of us perhaps don't consume enough protein. We do know that there are proteins in tons of vegetables, and that if you are eating consistently lots of large quantities of green vegetables, especially things like broccoli and spinach, you will be getting protein. If you add in things like tofu or seitan, or even oh my goodness, what was the word I wanted to use? If you add in probiotic foods and drinks, all of those things contain small amounts of protein. So we're talking about everything from kefir to kombucha, yogurts, straw from my background, because I'm partially Polish on my dad's side. We want to think about adding these things in that are going to give us protein. Why do we want protein? Protein is a building block, right? It's a building block of our muscles, but it also keeps us feeling full. So if you eat a breakfast that's primarily carbohydrate, and in 2 hours you're feeling very hungry, that's probably the reason why you don't have something that's I remember my grandmother used to say, stick to your ribs. So sticking to your ribs means if you're not vegan, if you're not vegan, then an egg or 2 is a great way to start, hard boiled or poached, the way you see it here in the photograph. On the top, I think that's actually, I don't think that's either yogurt or cottage cheese. And in the lower right, some sort of a smoothie that's probably made with it's got the nuts on top, which contain protein, maybe using a little bit of yogurt to make it more smooth. And there are vegan options for all of these, but eating a breakfast with more protein and less sugar keeps you full and more satisfied. It also keeps your sugar levels down during the day. Now, I know some of you have done things like intermittent fasting. You may have also eliminated carbs and done keto. All of these things are wonderful if you can incorporate them into a healthy lifestyle. What we don't want to do is say, I'm going to go off carbs, and then you're starving for carbs, and then you wind up binging on them. My goal really here to talk about metabolism is to help you pick up good habits that are going to be lifelong eating habits. Also, trying to stretch out the time that you eat. We tend to eat really fast and on the run. We want to stretch out our time to at least 30 minutes, giving the stomach time to kind of register, oh yes, I ate something, right? So slowly but surely eat your food. Maybe cut it into smaller bites. Chew it really well. Don't eat on the fly. I'm always telling my family, don't eat standing up. I also have to say to my son all the time, you're not being chased by a train. Sit down and eat your food. He always wants to kind of stand up in the kitchen and gobble something down. And while right now he has a really high metabolism because he's an athlete, there's going to come a time when that catches up to him. And I don't want him to have bad habits. So I'm trying to instill in him, I've been working on it, instill in him really good habits for eating for the rest of his life. So what do I do to make sure that I have enough protein on a regular basis? And we're talking about low calorie protein. So yes, I do eat tofu. I do eat some of the vegetarian sources, but I do eat meat. I'm not a vegetarian. or a vegan for that matter. One of my assistants is vegan, so I've learned a lot about veganism. And if you check online, you are going to see that our cookbooks actually are vegan, which is kind of fun. We always give a vegan option for whatever it is that we're preparing, and we're going to give you links for that at the very end. So what do I love? I love the trim shakes. Now, the cool thing about the trim shakes is they come in vanilla and chocolate with whey protein, which is a milk-based protein, but they also have a vegan version. What I find is you have to make sure that you're measuring out your trim shakes properly, because a lot of people tend to put in too little powder. Now, I know that the measurements on the side of the container are in US measurements, US dry weights and liquid measures, so you're gonna have to convert that. But if I'm not mistaken, it is 1 scoop per every 6 ounces. 6 ounces is approximately 150 milliliters of water. So you want to make sure that you're getting at least 1 to 1. Now, I don't know about you, but when I make a shake, it's not usually 4 to 6 ounces. It's usually 8 ounces, which would be about 250 milliliters, or maybe even a little bit more, especially if it's going to be a meal replacement. So if you're going to have a 250 or even a 500 milliliter shake, which is not unheard of, right? Because we might have a really large shake that we're going to be sipping throughout the day, and maybe we're carrying it with us in a big kind of a blender bottle. You want to make sure that you've added your 3 or maybe even 4 scoops of trim shake to that container, because what I find is people complain that either their shake is too watery or it's not satisfying. And so because the measurements are a little tricky on the side, I want you to really thoroughly read your container before you get started. So this is how I would make a shake. The blender bottle, as I mentioned to you before, that I use is approximately 1 liter. For those of you who are in the United States, it's slightly less than a quart, so it's about 30 ounces. 32 ounces would be a US quart. And then I'm adding usually 3 scoops of trim shake, and I'll use either vanilla chocolate or the vegan shake. And then I'm adding a scoop of TerraGreen. So I'm adding 4 scoops of product, 3 trim shake and 1 of product to 1 liter. And then I'll throw in a few ice cubes. And the way my blender bottle works, my portable blender, it has one of those little springy things, and I throw that in and then I shake it up, and then I'll kind of sip it throughout the day. If I'm going to make a shake in my house, I make a smaller one because I'm not dragging with me all day. But again, I'm making certain that I'm putting enough protein powder in there so that I'm feeling full. Each individual scoop is approximately, and somebody can look this up for me because I don't know if I know it off the top of my head, between I think 6 and 8 grams per scoop. So if you're putting in 2 or 3 scoops, you're getting up to 24 grams, excuse me, of protein, which is a great serving of protein. If you're looking for really a high protein shake because you're a little bit underweight, you may have to add actually 1 additional scoop. Now, here's my other trick. If you're adding a lot of powder because you want to really boost your protein, you're going to have to add something for flavor and creaminess. Because while the trim shakes are delicious, that the more powder you add, the more powdery the liquid, the final liquid is going to feel. So you want to make sure you're adding maybe a half of a banana or a piece of an avocado or some mango, which tend to really blend up really well and creamy. And obviously those are suggestions that you're going to use in your traditional blender in your house connected to electricity. You're never going to be able to blend up a banana if you're just putting it in a shaker bottle, right? So you want to make sure that you are blending that up and really getting a smooth, creamy shake. The other thing that you can do is you can add a couple of drops of either your Slim and Sassy, your grapefruit, your lemon, maybe cinnamon, ginger, any of your essential oils to kind of boost the flavor, change up the flavor profile. I'll sometimes add bee pollen, which is another thing that I love. I think it's also helped me with my seasonal distress when I'm kind of sneezing and coughing and whatever. Add a little bit of bee pollen in there. I have other sorts of greens, maybe spirulina. I'm one of these people, I maybe put a date in there if it doesn't feel sweet enough to me on a particular day. So I'm constantly changing it up. We have seasonal fruits. I know you do too. Can you tell me in the chat, what's the fruit that's in season right now in Southeast Asia. What is mid-June, end of June? Is durian in season? I think it is. Tell me. Yep, durian. Great. Mangoes. Yeah, durian. Okay, so I'm gonna miss durian season this year, right? Because I'm not gonna be able to see you. By the time I come back, it's gonna be out of season. I was actually in an Asian supermarket the other day. Thank you, Yamini. Thank you, Emilio. Thank you, Marcia. I was in an Asian supermarket. We've had an explosion of Asian supermarkets here in my area, which is so cool. And I found kaya butter with durian in it. Who's had that before? Christy says mangoes. Yes, mangoes are absolutely in season. I ran out of bananas the other day, and I looked online and I found out that mangoes are a great substitute for bananas, because they blend up really creamy. Oh, Lynette says lychees. Yeah, Sihan, kaya butter with durian. I have to take a picture of it. I should have taken a picture of it with the store. It's an acquired taste for durian. Either you like it or you hate it. That is absolutely the truth. I feel like every time I come to Singapore, I get a different sort of a taste. I've had ice creams and slushies and cakes and cookies and all different sorts of ways. Some for me are better than others. It's sort of like blue cheese in the United States. For any of my American listeners, either you love it or you hate it. It's delicious or it's just stinky and weird. So whether you love it or you hate it, you should be adding seasonal fruits, right? We want to add our seasonal fruits into our shake. Okay, anybody tell me, how well does durian blend up? I've had durian pancakes, Ella. That was actually the first thing that I ever tried when I came to Singapore. I went to one of the outdoor markets, and I had durian pancakes. Tell me, how well does durian blend up in a shake? Is it creamy? Is it stringy? We know that, Singapore has durian pizza. I'm not sure about that one. Oh dear, recently Germany has 6 people admitted to the hospital after smelling durian. That is hysterical. And for those of you who've never heard of durian, please look it up, because it really is an acquired taste. Oh, it is creamy. Okay, so if you blend it up, you can make it creamy. And Megan is telling me that you can make durian mousse. Oh, that is too funny. See, that's a riot. I know you just had a birthday, Miss Z. Happy birthday. Durian, yes, and now everybody's telling me all their different recipes. Durian cream puffs, Hannah says. Eugenia says durian steamboat. I don't know what steamboat is. It sounds good. June babies, yes. Oh, my June babies. We have 1 day left. We'll talk about that before we get off. Sumatra, Ella says they eat fermented durian with rice. I guess it's dried. Okay. So there's tons of different ways to eat durian, tons of ways to make your shake taste good. Okay, so now I'm going to ask you, what do you put in your shake to make your shake taste better? Now, I've already talked about mangoes. We've already talked about banana. If you have put something unusual in your shake, I want to hear about it. Ooh, blueberries, very smart. Yes, we didn't talk about blueberries. We didn't talk about berries in general. Berries are very high in antioxidants. Wonderful thing to put in your shakes. Strawberries, Shally says strawberries. Bolin says strawberries and banana. Tanya says durian is quite high in calories, so eat in moderation. Okay, all right, that's good to know. Peggy says, I'm sorry, Peggy, you didn't get yours. Sihan tells us that every year he gets fat because of durian, so don't think durian in a shake is good. That's probably true. I guess it's one of those things where you just can't control yourself. Dragon fruit plus lemon sounds delicious. Fruit in the vanilla and peanut butter in the chocolate shake. Okay, got to watch the peanut butter. Okay, here's a tip for peanut butter. I will tell you, they now sell dried peanut butter powder. It is super low in calories, and that's what I put in my shake. I don't put peanut butter in my shakes anymore because peanut butter is way too fattening. So look for dried peanut butter powder. It works really well. You can put in a tablespoon. It gives the same flavor without all the fat and the calories. Okay, yogurt. Joanne says yogurt. Okay, and Peggy says avocado. Elaine says blackberries with raspberries. And Danielle reminds us to put in spinach. Yes, spinach is a great thing to put in. And another way for you to add in that so if you're putting together that bowl of greens, that 1 pound of vegetables in the morning, think of maybe throwing some of those vegetables into your shake. Many vegetables, especially the more mild tasting ones, you wouldn't want to add a jalapeno pepper into your shake, but many of the more mild vegetables can be added into your shakes. Okay, Bolin says spinach and pineapple, delicious. Soy milk, yes, and kale and pineapple. Okay, so we've got some really amazing shakes going on. Did you get some good ideas? I hope you did. Let's talk. Here's number one. Here's a quick weight loss. You can use this as a roller. You can use it as a diffuser if you don't have Slim and Sassy. 3 drops grapefruit, 3 drops lemon, 2 cinnamon bark, 2 ginger, 1 bergamot, and 1 fennel. It smells really yummy, and I think you will like it. You can take a screenshot of this so you can see it in the future and maybe try it out. Let me know. Tomorrow is the last day of June. For those of you who are entering contests on Instagram, thank you so much. We had some winners. I saw some of your names here today. Congratulations if you were a winner on Instagram. Tomorrow is the last day of June, so we might have a surprise. I don't know, we'll have to see. Maybe we'll have a one-day surprise. Tomorrow is actually my husband's birthday. Yes, everybody in my family is born in June. Another quick aside is everybody in my family, if they're not born in June, is born in a month that begins with J. So January and July. So we're all J months. But yes, my husband's birthday is tomorrow. Happy birthday, Jose. And I'm super excited. We're going to be celebrating. I won't tell you what we're going to do for him, but he's going to get some great surprises. And then maybe I'll share those surprises with you for him. He's out right now, but he may listen to this later, so I can't reveal them quite yet. Okay, I want to say thank you to our Presidential Diamond team, as always. Thank you for everybody who gets on, who brings in all the people to watch the presentation, is on here every single week. So proud of you, and you really do help to just move the numbers every week and make this the funnest place to be on the internet. The ideas expressed in this presentation are primarily from the book, Essential Oils Healthcare for Today. Hope you'll check it out if you haven't already seen it. Karen says, happy birthday to your husband. Thank you, Karen. And the deal of the day is actually what is it called? Our book on tape. And so what you can do, let's see if I can put this in the chat for everybody. I hope so. Yes, there we go. I did it. So if you click on this link, and you can copy that link, you can go to ElenaJordan.com, and you're going to go to our free resources page. That link is going to take you right to the free resources page. If you have not already signed up, you can get our free cookbook, because at the end of June, it will be gone. So they'll be getting another one, but that one will be gone. So if you haven't gotten it yet, click on the link. I'm going to have 3 links for you today. This is the first one. This is for your free ebook. There you go. Okay, so now, what's the next thing I want to tell you about? So if we do wind up having another, giveaway tomorrow, like we've been having in the last couple of days, we're going to have it on Instagram. And I know some of you are on Instagram, some of you are not. You don't have to join Instagram and become a maven about doing different things on there or trying to post different sorts of pictures, but I know you all want to win stuff, right? So if you are interested, you can go to this link right here. There we go. And under that link, you'll be able to get into any contests, find out the latest information. I'm often on there live, and I'm definitely posting every single day, so you can see a lot of different things that are going on. That's maybe my surprise for tomorrow. Let's see, we gave away some great prizes, gave away a Father's Day kit. We gave away a rose roll-on, and we gave away, I don't know what the other prize was. I can't remember what it was. But if you are not on Instagram, please follow the links and get on. And for those of you listening through YouTube, the links will be posted in the show notes below. Last but not least, if you would like to share this presentation with someone from your team, you want to make sure that you are, oh yes, Kids Stronger. Thank you, Megan. So that was actually our first gift. our first prize on Instagram earlier this month. We did a giveaway for 2 Kids Strongers. And the reason we did that was because we wanted you to have one and then to give one away to your best friend so that you could be stronger and they could be stronger too. You know that all of these calls are posted on YouTube. And one of the things that we love, whoops, I'm trying to just move over my cursor so that I can make sure I'm in the right place. Where am I now? Whoops. Nope. I'm gonna go back. I'm sorry, everybody. I want to go back. There we go. I want to make sure that if you are not already subscribing to our YouTube channel, oh, I did it again. Trying to find myself here. Go this way. Okay, can't find myself now. I'll have to post it at the very end. Going to YouTube and subscribing, because that's the way you're going to be able to pass the word from one person to another. I have gotten really good responses about some of these videos, partly because they're easy to pass along. And while this one is particularly long, usually they're not so long and they're easy to listen to, and you can kind of scroll through them really quickly. They are posted on some of our Facebook chat groups, but to be able to pass them from person to person, you're going to need the YouTube link, which I'm going to provide in a minute. Okay, now for the 3rd time, remember, you are amazing. As I always say, it doesn't matter what I do. I'm here really to make sure that you have the information that you need. So very proud of you, and I'm really happy that you're here. And last but not least, thank you for being here, and have a wonderful week. We're going to be giving away some prizes in about a minute. Today, we are talking about weight loss. So I want to make sure, let me see if I can get that. Yep, there we go. That's the YouTube link. All calls recorded and posted on YouTube. So in case you haven't seen that, or you haven't been able to get onto How Chi Mun says, thank you, Elena, YouTube. Thank you, How Chi Mun. I haven't seen you online before. I'm glad you're here. Today we had a really good group. I'm so excited. This worked out well. Tell me, what did you think? Did you learn something? Did you learn anything? Type in the chat, and then also let me know, is there something that I missed that you didn't hear? Try to address everything that we were talking about, everything from vegan weight loss to adding vegetables and fruits. If you're an expert in weight loss, you might have been listening to this and thinking, I know all that stuff. I hope that some of it was useful to you. Good natural stuff. Thank you, Yamini. Wow, quite a few cannot get into this call tonight. Okay, so that's why you need the recording. I don't know if everybody knows, if you go into the chat and you go to the right-hand side, there's going to be 3 little dots. You can tap on those 3 little dots and save the chat. You can scroll through, of course, and save whatever links you want. Seungli says, yes, learn much. Okay, thank you. I'm so glad. I don't want you to come here and say, oh my gosh, she talks about the same thing every single week. I hope that every week that you come here, it's a little bit different. I'm looking on my phone because I want to make sure that I'm giving away the right thing. We are in the last, I can't believe it's the last 2 days of the month. Tell me a little bit what you're going to be doing. Actually, let me know, have you started some slimming regime already? Or are you going to start a slimming regime? So Joanne says, actually on my way of a slimming journey. Hannah says, on a keto diet. Eugenia says, started. And let me know. This is the 3rd time I'm here. Okay. Oh, good. How Chi Mun. That's really good. I'm so glad you're here. Balanced diet plus essential oil. Started, but struggling to keep the momentum. I know how you feel, Yamini. Marcia says, yes, starting a slimming journey. Going to start V-Shake. Okay, so many of you are starting. Angela says lemon water and grapefruit every day. Waiting for durian season to end. I get it. Drink Slim and Sassy and grapefruit with water every day. Great. Ella says Slim and Sassy every morning. Started with shake and lemon water. Yes, breakfast smoothie with virtual piloxing. Oh, that's neat. Okay. Essential oils with water. And Bolin says diet. Okay, so we got a lot of I think we have a lot of people that are thinking about slimming, which is why I think this call was kind of full. But that's a good thing. We want to make sure that everybody is, look, I can't convince you to do something that you don't want to do, right? If you're ready to slim, that's great. If you're not, or maybe you don't need to, because I look around and you all look so beautiful to me. I don't think anybody needs slimming. You just look perfect, but maybe you feel it. Like I always say, you feel like your pants are too tight or too loose and you want to make sure that you're in the right place. I'm looking for my list of gifts. Hold on a second. I need one more minute. I hope I'm on the right page here. And, oh, here we go. Okay, so today, what are we going to give away today? I think today we're going to give away two things, primarily because they're great for digestion. I want to make sure that in addition to having great tips for slimming, that you're digesting your food well. So I'm going to be giving away Digest Zen soft gels and ginger digestive drops. That's hard to say. Digest Zen soft gels and ginger digestive drops. And I'm going to say goodbye to all of our listeners online. So thank you for having been here. It's been wonderful listening to you, all of my online listeners. We'll see you back here again next week. And for everybody who's here on the live, don't go away. I'm going to give away our prize.